Hey nerds, I'm just wondering, do you guys remember this video? This is the first episode of what I'm calling There and Back Again, my journey through MMOs, and the MMO I'm starting with is Guild Wars 2. Yeah, I look a lot different currently, but that was a year ago, which is absolutely incredible because End of Dragons is right around the corner, and I had the honor of playing it early. Now, on top of that, I was also told that Jesse Cox posted his 5-minute impression video of the portion that he got to play, and whether or not he's going to be playing on release and streaming it on Twitch. So, I decided to combine all of these videos in one. So this is an anniversary, why I'm playing in 2022, why you should play Guild Wars 2 in 2022, some things you can look forward to in End of Dragons, and also a reaction to Jesse Cox's video to see if I agree. So I can't believe this is my anniversary, and thank you if you guys have been here since the beginning. Alright, I feel like I'm really just going to be making myself jealous with his setup, but I might have some pause champ to show you guys some of my footage, or discuss what I thought about certain bosses, and the guild hall capture, and just the overall map. So here it is, this is what Jesse Cox thinks, and then I'll give my 2 cents.
Hey gang, today's video is sponsored by Guild Wars 2 End of Dragons. Now, I'm sure you're aware, I have been playing MMOs for a long time. Almost 20 years? Oh man, I am old. Well, in those 20 years...
For anyone who doesn't know, I just turned 30, so... and I've probably been playing MMOs for 15, so I'm not far behind.
I have played many MMORPGs, but Guild Wars 2 is one that I always come back to. And now I have a reason to jump back in it again, because on February 28th, the new expansion, End of Dragons, comes out. Now, our dear friend Krendor would have you believe the biggest reason to come back is the fishing, because that man loves his...
That's still such a big thing right now. The fishing and the skiffs. Everybody, like, jokes about AFK stuff and how they don't like it. Like, it's still a big argument. But also, what I think is funny is just looking at the footage that he put together. I had never been a part of getting to do a preview of anything. And so all of my footage is mainly just... like my character running around and participating in things, which isn't necessarily bad, but he makes it look so beautiful.
His fishing. And I can already imagine us on that skiff, ferrying each other around, finding all the great fishing spots. But that's Krendor. Me? I wanted to know what was in store for players who weren't exactly into all the water sports. Now, as I mentioned, I played before, and I'm sure you can find all sorts of videos of me dating back to like 2012, playing the game and absolutely raging at the wild jumping puzzles.
And there's a whole other way in there. I will probably kill someone. Yeah, but you...
Absolutely raging at jumping puzzles, and this is literally what? The one that's in Caledon Forest? This is like the one that extends out to, like, Morgan's Spiral, I believe.
Still don't get the achievement called Morgan's Leap.
Yeah.
Oh, holy sh! This entire thing is a jumping...
No!
Oh no!
That video is so old, but it warms my heart hearing all the voices of the old RPG Maker's crew.
God,
anyway, it has been a while since I've played, and Guild Wars reached out and asked me if I wanted to jump back into the new expansion, so of course, I was excited to do so. I've even got my main, Celis, ready and waiting to go. And lucky for me, all this meant that I got to check out some of the newest content in a recent preview event. Returning to the beloved region of Kantha, we ventured to the Isle of Reflection, the original Xandrii arena from Guild Wars 1, which is now a guild capture event, except with much more story than is historically done in the game.
Yep. So it's essentially how they've been doing the guild captures. So for our group, we stayed together. But you have your essentially 3 different areas and then your major boss at the end. And what's really cool is a lot of NPCs in the game are also the new elite specs. So they tried to show them off and give them more story in guild capture. And whilst I didn't really have any trouble here, there was definitely more difficulty, which is what people want, and it teaches you how to play your class a lot more, which again is what people want, and it has that story, and the aesthetic is really pretty, and the music is really pretty. So I'll keep up with the video, but I just wanted to mention that they do have those elite specializations, and then the final boss that you fight is like Ritualist. So
it was a pretty great way to get some context for the world, engage in combat, and just goof around. Speaking of goofs, immediately I realized that I have played Guardian for far too long and realized I had no idea about any of the warrior skills. So I was trying to figure out what kind of version of my character I would want to play. Which is, let me just say, one of my favorite parts of the game.
Absolutely.
You don't have to fill your screen with abilities. Yeah, there are many, but you pick the ones that best suit your build, based on the weapon your profession is wielding. Now sure, there are some professions that are not quite like that, but I'll let the Guild Wars 2 superfans talk about that in the comments below.
Hence why you should play in 2022. It's just another reason, and I'm going to go over the rest, but this was actually something that I didn't struggle with when I was doing my preview, was I was playing a Reaper, and so I literally got everything all set. I'd remembered exactly what my build was. The only thing that I didn't fix were my keybinds, and so that was really weird. And then on top of that, I had a really bad allergic reaction to makeup, and so I could barely see. I'm using my contacts because my dog had chewed up my glasses quite some time ago, and I could barely see, and I feel like I was doing better than ever with mechanics. You know, just going around rezzing people, jumping in, backing out, using my shroud and getting back in there with your stability. So I actually did have trouble setting some of my stuff up too, but not in this way. But it's a great idea that you can just sit here, and it's great to talk about, that you can just be like, yeah, I just picked what I thought was fun real quick and then went with it.
But yeah, I've always loved that about Guild Wars 2. It sometimes feels like you're playing a MOBA more than an 800 ability MMORPG. And this allows you a bit more freedom. Like, you never really see a tanky mage in most MMORPGs, but here, it's a thing. Anyway, we started the event, and I was immediately hit by how charming it is, the way they use in-game story to disguise things like the event timer by saying that it's some sort of bureaucracy about land permit use. Including little story stuff like that to explain mechanics in-world is always something that is fun for me.
I beat out 2 other applicants to get this internship, so yeah, obviously.
Don't worry, everyone respect the authority of the Ministry of Urban Planning. I have this under control.
The event itself has a scaling system, reducing the number of players that are required to take it, and according to the devs, I think at one point they said either 2 or 3 players had done it by themselves, and that's good news.
Yep, I actually took notes on that. So it will scale to 2 players. When I did it with everyone, it was 25, if you guys were wondering.
For smaller guilds, or people just trying to claim their own solo pad. But yeah, I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel like the new guy coming back to a thing after a while and just sort of soaking it all in and not really trying to be in anyone's way. And even though they threw us right in, I did have a ton of fun though, especially riding on the back of a giant
See, so this was what I was talking about, the Spectre.
turtle firing rockets at bosses. I have no clue if I actually did damage equal to what my output would have been if I just normally fought, but I'll be honest, I didn't care. It was fun. Also, speaking of bosses, one of the other things I enjoyed going through the event was that you could choose how to tackle the bosses, one at a time, or split up and take on all the bosses in different groups simultaneously, which is what we did, and while it made for longer boss fights, we did have less of them. And then once you take it, and it's yours, you can decorate it, build in it, and do all sorts of stuff. All in all, a pretty fun first experience back. We then went on to do some of the fishing and check out some of the other areas, but I don't claim to know enough to truly give any informed takes. One of the downsides of a guided tour is that you don't really get to explore. And since it's been so long that I kind of had that, I'm new here, what the hell is
This was actually really cool, not to interrupt everything, but when we did this, it was really neat because these siege turtles are actually, as you can see, they have the shields above them, so they're a part of the event. And so if you don't have a siege turtle currently, or let's say you don't have the masteries that you need, you can still participate in this large scale event by either attacking things not on a siege turtle, or you could be on a siege turtle and fighting at these like essentially like batteries that are keeping you from getting into the building. And that was really cool. And it really shows, you know, all of the teamwork. It shows how large scale it was, and it makes it so that it's so inclusive. So if you wanted to start picking up the game now, again, play in 2022, you could get into this and still feel right at home and be able to participate even as a new player.
What's going on? I feel so overwhelmed and love it vibe. It's also where I do my best exploration. But we did get to all ride on turtles again for an assault mission, and let me just say, I do love TURTLE power. The good news is I will eventually be able to explain all sorts of stuff to you because I'll be jumping back into the game this week on stream to start the adventure all over again, and I'll probably need your help. So if you want to play along, by all means, come on a wacky adventure with me. I would love for you to be there, or just stop by and watch and tell me what I'm doing wrong. I accept that too. Anyway, that's it for my experience jumping back into Guild Wars 2. I'm very excited to see what kind of changes have been made since last time I played, to see the world, to experience everything anew for the first time, and yet still being familiar to me from the last time I played. So I'll see you all in game.
And that's really, really, really good for the game, and it's good for the community. We actually had a prediction going in chat today that was like, how many viewers do you think Guild Wars 2 is going to get on launch day? And I said that I would be happy with 50K, depending on how many larger streamers come over and stream the game and, you know, get that outreach that people should get. And with Jesse Cox, I don't know, maybe we can up that, especially if Wooden Potato streams at, you know, on release and such and actually does it on Twitch. But I'd be happy with 50K. Some people were saying 350, I don't know, with, you know, Elden Ring and Forbidden West and Lost Ark, but we'll see. And just in case you guys wanted to see some other cool stuff, I actually do have that last boss fight from Aspenwood, which is really cool. One of the big things is that it's an area that the Luxons and Kurziks were fighting. There are abilities that are actually named after gods for Kantha, and all of the metas are also going to be on more of a rotation so that there will never be one that's at the same time as another, so you can participate in all of them. And it just seems like they've really actually upped the mechanics and the actual difficulty, which is a lot of fun, and you guys can see that here. And I suppose I can let you guys know why I'm still going to be playing Guild Wars 2 in 2022 and why I think you should. You can essentially pick up the game from anywhere. You're going to have access to mounts and gliding, even if you just start now, for all of the basics, so you can just jump right in and play with your friends. And there's so many features that are coming out right on launch. Normally for an MMO, you have to wait for other patches to get patch story. And yes, Living World could be an argument, but for this, you're getting skiffs, so you'll be able to go out on boats, you'll be able to fish. Fishing will be able to be a group activity. There's whole new areas for the maps, which includes a ton of exploration, new masteries, the Siege Turtle mount that's going to have masteries to unlock abilities, the Jade bot, which is also going to have masteries to unlock abilities that's going to be really neat, the new strikes, the challenge mode strikes. There's so much that's coming out right on release, and I doubt most people who have even played for years that are veterans have finished all of the content previously, and there's a ton of replayability. I guess I feel like I have to pace myself with Guild Wars 2, which is why I've been playing for a year and I still have so much to look forward to. Because you don't just log on and farm stuff and get your raid in. I mean, you can, but you don't have to. Everything is so vast and there's so much to do that, I mean, why not come in and do it on another character? Why not get map completion? It's a really fun game, and I'm really actually honored to be an ArenaNet partner. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you at the next one. In another year. Just kidding. It'll probably be like 2 days.